Hey, what's up? This is Chosen, and it is Monday. We can finally see the Prism Shard live in game. It is the first time ever that Raid Shadow Legends has added a new shard, and I did a video yesterday speculating about what this could be. It ended up being a little bit different, a little bit similar. I was right on some things, wrong on some things, so I want to give you my first thoughts here on the Prism Shard system being added to Raid. Let's get into it. Alrighty, so first of all, I want to clarify this because I kind of made a mistake in yesterday's video. I was getting a little bit too convoluted in how, or like over analyzing how I was talking about this shard. So I was saying how it's interesting that there is no red in the shard, because if it encompasses all champions, why doesn't it have force affinity? Well, it does encompass all champions, but it's doing it from the shard side of the colors. That's why you see the green for mystery shards, the blue for ancient shards, and the purple for void shards. But it's also got a little bit of yellow in there for sacred shards and stuff like that. But those colors don't represent the affinities. They represent the shards and the rarity of champions. And look at that. The portal is super fancy. I do like that. It almost looks like a divine, heavenly type of summon event here, but it represents the summon pool Prism Shard event. Now, first up, the thing that stands out to me is they went with a specific summoning pool. They didn't just combine all of the champions in the Nigerian Union. They picked specific ones, and it looks like they just did a couple from each faction here. But what they didn't do also is they didn't include void champions. So they have the purple there as part of the shard. That could just be representing epic champions. So I guess what this could be doing is representing, you've got your blue for rares and a little bit of the yellowish orange there for legendaries, and then the purple would be representing the epic champions. But they've also got a ton of green there in the shard, and the green doesn't really represent anything. I can't see how it represents mystery shards because you can't really get uncommons here, and there also isn't the green for the uncommon rarity in game. So I'm not sure why they have so much green in that shard or what that represent. It should be mostly just this orangish yellow and then purple and then blue. But anyway, enough of over analyzing the colors in the shard. So I expected them to put every single legendary in here, or at least a bigger pool of them. But this is a good thing and a bad thing. So there's going to be less champions involved in the event, but also you're going to have a higher likelihood of getting the one that you're actually going for. So if you do proc the effect of getting a legendary, you can see here there is only 9 different chances. So you're 1 over 9 of getting the legendary that you want, instead of in the normal context of the game where you would be like 1 over 150 or something. And I wonder if they'll ever put voids in here or not. They don't even have void rares in here, so they definitely don't want to do it out the gate. They're probably going to wait and see, and then if the events aren't popular enough, they will add void champions to it at some point maybe. But it looks like they're going to be very hesitant to include void champions, and it kind of makes sense from their end because by far their biggest moneymaker in game is void shards. So they probably don't want to do anything that would jeopardize that market, because it's by far their most stable and most consistently selling source of revenue. And there really isn't a super consistent way to farm up these crystals. You just have to kind of do well in a tournament. As you can see, finish top 3 here and you'll get 20 prism crystals, which is going to give you enough for 1 pull. So gonna be kind of difficult to consistently pull during this event. And then if you have at least 20, they're gonna make you spend them before the end of the event. You're not gonna be able to save them until the next event, but they'll also come out with more probably tournaments and events where you can farm up these crystals to participate in the Prism Shard pulls. And there's also going to be a Deck of Fate event going on, but it doesn't look like you can get those crystals as part of the Deck of Fate. It looks like it's mostly the normal stuff, and you're going to be getting artifacts or upgrading them to get points in the Deck of Fate. So it's going to be tough to do a bunch of pulls in the Prism Shard. You'd basically have to kind of spend money to do a bunch of them, and it looks like it's going to cost about $5 per pull. And sorry, you can't see there, but this looks a little bit lame to me. So, and sorry, let me move my cam there so you can see what's going on with these offers. But just like my first reaction to this, seems like pretty bad value for spending. And you don't even get any more value from the small to the medium, and even the large is barely better. So from what I can see on the small is you're getting 4 crystals per dollar. On the medium, you're also getting 4 crystals per dollar. And then on the large, it's like 4.2 crystals per dollar, so barely better. It's just a small little decimal rounding error better. So it seems a little bit expensive to me because you've only got a 3% chance of getting a legendary, so it's basically like a 3x ancient shard because you can't get void champions. So it's just kind of exactly a 3x ancient shard, although the epic odds are probably a little bit better. And I guess I'm talking about a 2x event because that's when I always tend to pull ancient shards. But as far as like the base value, it'd be 6 times better than an ancient shard because an ancient shard is 0.5% and you're going all the way up to 3% here on the Prism Shard. And then the epics might actually be a little bit worse because a normal ancient shard is going to be 8% for an epic and you're only getting 37 here, which is not quite 5 times the odds. So it's a little bit skewed towards a legendary there. But the good news is, I mean, you're 37% to get an epic, and the epic pool is nowhere near as huge as it typically is, and you've got one of the best epics in the game here in Geomancer, part of the pool. So I would say for someone that doesn't have Geomancer, that would be the person that this event is most hyped for. There are good legendaries in here. I don't think there's like a game-changing Duchess, Kymar type of non-void legendary, but these are all pretty solid. So a lot of them would be a great addition to most accounts out there, but I think by far the highlight of the event is for those of you that are early game, mid game, or transitioning into the end game, and you don't have a copy of Geomancer yet. It would be great to have a chance at proccing the effect there because you're 37% to get an epic, and how many epics are here? So you got 2, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13, 15, so you'd be 1 over 15. And if you're 1 over 15, it would be like just over 6% that if you pull an epic, it ends up being a Geomancer, which is pretty hype. I mean, if you can get some of these shards just kind of for free and some of these prism pulls for free on your account, just passively as you're grinding through events, might be nice to give yourself a little bit of a bonus chance. I wouldn't feel pressured though to spend a bunch of money because just my first gut reaction is the prices. See, I'll have to do like a more dedicated breakdown, get like a spreadsheet and all of that here. But just my first reaction, the prices seem a little bit out of whack because you're paying about 5 times the value of an ancient shard. Typically, the shards go for like $1 a piece for ancient shards, maybe slightly worse on some of like the string packs and stuff. And you're getting 6 times the odds on a legendary, but with the ancient shards you have 2x events and all of that. So really, if you're disciplined with ancient shards, you're only getting 3x the value on a legendary proc, and it's like 5 times the cost. So just my first gut reaction is the price seems a little bit bad for what I would have wanted it to be. If it's going to cost 20 per, I would have wanted these to be like 20 of these for $3 or something, and kind of do the ratio from there. So it definitely seems a little bit more expensive than I probably would have wanted to set it in relation to the rest of the Plarium marketplace. But I believe we did get some free, I believe we get a gift here before we go over the packs. I believe we got a gift to be able to do some summoning here, so I can go ahead and do it live and see what that looks like here. Yeah, we get 30 crystals. They did talk about giving us 30 crystals, and we thought it was going to cost 30, but it looks like it's only going to cost 20. But you know what? We've got CVC coming tomorrow, which means it's probably best to wait and hold off for our crystal summons until tomorrow to double dip, which is why I'm waiting to fuse and newt until tomorrow to double dip with CVC. I've got the 3 epics here and the 1 void epic. I'm ready to fuse newt whenever I want, but I'm waiting until I can dive in and double dip some points with CVC. So I wouldn't recommend this. I'm kind of hype here for the video, so I'm going to pull this, but for most of you out there, I think it would be a little bit more optimal to wait and do your Prism Shard pulls during CVC ideally, so you can double dip a little bit of points there. But let's go ahead and let's crack this Prism Shard. And oh, I thought I got Geomancer right out the gate. So yeah, okay, I procced the 37% to get an epic, and then I didn't get the 6 point whatever percent to get a Geomancer. I ended up getting Fodbor. So, okay, it's definitely an interesting mechanic, and I think it'll be overall a good thing to the game. Just kind of passively spend them. I wouldn't go out and YOLO a bunch of money. As of right now, at least, I really want to do a deep dive value proposition on the exact comparison of the Plarium marketplace and maybe get them added to the offer calculator and all that kind of stuff. Now, as far as the other stuff going on in game as we start the week, we do have a spider turn attack. It looks like Plarium likes that concept, and they're going to be doing that moving forward for all sorts of other tournaments where you kind of complete the dungeon in as little turns as possible, and you'll get a little bit of a boost for some bonus points. Now, there is 20 shards, so there is one prism pull guaranteed over here on the right side, and I would at least get to 1700 points to scoop up your coins. But before you YOLO a bunch of energy here in the spider turn attack tournament, there is going to be, like I said, a CVC starting tomorrow, and you can double dip your points a little bit if you're disciplined enough to hold off until CVC is live here, as it says, what, like 14 hours here in game. And the same holds true for the champion training tournament. Tomorrow would be the day to really YOLO and go hard on doing this, because you've got your 4,500 points here for some immortal soul stones. But I would try to hold off until tomorrow. Today is going to be kind of like the calm before the storm type of day, because we're all going to kind of wait like a coiled spring until CVC launches, and then we can start slamming all this stuff and pulling the couple prisms that we can pull, and fusing Newt and building Newt and doing these different spider tournaments and events going on. So today you kind of want to hold off a little bit if you're trying to be optimal for your clan. And the same thing holds true for Faction Wars. At the daily reset, you can see where it says 5 hours and 43 minutes. At the daily reset, you want to hold off and wait until CVC is live to spend your keys after the daily reset, or you'll miss out on a few thousand points you could have kind of got for free. But okay, what do we got in the shop? There's probably going to be a lot of stuff here. Mini mix for prisms. Okay, so this is 1/4 of a pull, and they're what, like 3 to 6x the value on an ancient shard, but they're also targeted, so it kind of changes a little bit. So yeah, 5 crystals is about what I expected here in the mini mix. It would have been like 5 or 10. 10 would have been good. 5 is a little bit underwhelming, but it's basically holding serve for the normal value we see in the mini mix. Sometimes they substitute this out. They'll switch it out for an ancient shard. They'll switch it out for the lowest tier of soulstone, and now they're switching it out for 5 prism crystals, and it basically holds true to the expected value. Then we've got the Newt potion, 25 for a sacred, special progress, no. Person number 3, no. Summon pool offer, it's a bunch of chicken, and okay, not intriguing. 2 for 15, 5-day cap. Yeah, not super intriguing. And okay, so unfortunately, nothing super hype. I think for the first one, for the first event featuring these prism crystals, they really should have put a hyped up offer out there to generate some hype for people doing some pulls here. I mean, it's not like people are going to be getting a bunch of Acrisias and Sifis and stuff. There isn't even any Void champions. So I don't know why they're so timid on doing really good offers to really release stuff and let people pull. There should have been like a purchase limit of one $10 offer where you get 50 crystals or something, just to hype it up and let people get out there and do some prism shard pulls. I mean, just one time, I don't see what the harm would have been there, and it would have generated a little bit of revenue and hype for the new event. But then also this week, we're going to be getting the last episode here of the Call of the Arbiter series. The Tower are going to be launching in a couple days as the final episode of the Call of the Arbiter series. And I will definitely throw a poll over on the community tab of the channel and ask your thoughts on the Prism Shard Crystal mechanic being added to the game, and ask if you have a positive or negative view of it. So head on over to the community tab if you would like to share your opinion. Then I'll probably cover how the community feels in a video and keep you in the loop on the context of that. But yeah, kind of a little bit of a chill day, a calm before the storm, as we wait to dump resources to make sure we're min-maxing and double dipping with CVC. So I appreciate all of you, and it would mean a lot to earn your sub today if you enjoy daily Raid Shadow Legends content. I will see you soon in the next video. Peace.